Hey everybody, good evening. Rachel here, otherwise known as Rachel New Fit. You might know me by that if you follow me on Instagram or Snapchat or any other platform as Rachel New Fit. But hey, I wanted to come on and talk to you guys. I have some exciting news that I want to be sharing with you. I used to do these live videos almost every single day when Rich and I used to do them together, and then we fell by the wayside. We haven't been doing them, and I've just been getting a lot of messages lately saying, hey, we miss your live videos. So tonight it's just me. I know, sad. Rich isn't going to be joining me, but maybe I might be able to twist his arm and get him to join me again for a couple of videos here and there. But what I'm going to start doing is every Friday, I'm going to start doing my Fit Tip Friday. And I'm planning on doing it earlier in the day. I know it's kind of late in the evening, but it's just been one of those crazy days. But I definitely wanted to get it started today. I'm looking at possibly doing these around 10 o'clock every Friday. That'll be Eastern Standard Time. So plug your calendar to make sure that you check in here on Rachel New Fit every Friday about 10 o'clock. And I'm going to be sharing with you some sort of fitness tip or nutrition tip. And if you have any ideas or anything that you would like me to talk about, I would love to get that feedback from you. You can comment in the comment sections below or message me. But today, what I wanted to talk to you about is meal planning, and at least planning for a week in advance, because I know for me, it took me a long time to figure that out, and I'm going to get into that here in a little bit. And that seems to be the biggest thing that people struggle with the most is the nutrition and the eating plan, because anybody can work out, right? Anybody can exercise, but what you can't do is you can't out-exercise a bad diet. And that's what I thought that I could do for the longest time. So let me back up a couple years ago. So back in college, I would work out, right? I'd go to the gym, and then I would leave the gym and I would go to some sort of fast food restaurant and I would get a chicken sandwich. Now granted, it wasn't a grilled chicken sandwich, it was deep fried on a bun, and I would eat that thinking, okay, well, it's healthy because it's a chicken sandwich. But it wasn't. I didn't know. You know, you don't know what you don't know, right? And so through the years, after I graduated college, I got married, had Ryan, I found myself overweight. I was not happy in my own skin. And I remember I saw a reflection of myself in the mirror. And it was like, I was like looking behind me and I saw just excess skin. I was like, oh my gosh, how did I get to this point? So I knew something had to change. I just didn't know how to go about doing that. And so I started just digging in and researching and trying to find anything and everything that I could that would teach me proper nutrition, because I already knew the exercise standpoint of it. I mean, I had been exercising and working out since I was a kid. My dad and I used to work out together when I was a kid. So I was knowledgeable on that aspect, but what I was not knowledgeable on was the nutrition. I didn't know anything about nutrition. So as I was digging and I was doing my research, I came across Oxygen Magazine. And within Oxygen Magazine, I found Tosca Reno. And for those of you who are not familiar with her, she is the author of the Eat Clean Diet. She has lots of articles in the Oxygen Magazine, and that's how I found her. I have since, I purchased every single one of her books. I have met her several times in person. I've been interviewed by her, just sharing my own story and my own personal testimony of how she helped me. And so I want to share with you some of the things that I have learned throughout the years, and hopefully that will help you get a kickstart or a head start into your own nutritional planning, or maybe offer some tips that you might not have thought of. So I'm just going to try to keep this short and sweet tonight. I don't want to take up too much of your evening here on a Friday evening, but I just want to share some tips that have helped me on meal planning and meal prep. So as I said, you can never out-exercise a bad diet, okay? So how many of you have just worked your butt off doing exercises, doing workouts, and you're just killing it at the gym or at home doing workouts, and a couple weeks go by and you're not seeing any results. It's frustrating. I know, I've been there. So that's when you have to take a step back and say, okay, what am I eating? Sometimes you're not eating enough, okay? Sometimes you're not eating the right combinations of food. So that's one of the things that I do is I help come up with your own personalized nutritional plan. And so we have to take a look at that. But you have to remember that 80% of the way that you look is a direct result of the nutrition and of the food that you're eating. So you have to really pay attention to the foods that you are eating or maybe not eating. Okay, so here's what I do. Usually like on a Sunday, I will sit down and I will plan out my week's worth of food. Now, my entire family doesn't eat the same foods that I eat, and that's a question that I get asked a lot is, well, what do you do with the family when they don't eat? Well, either they have a choice of eating the foods that I want to eat, or they make their own food. I mean, I don't have time to be a short order cook and chef to be making a bunch of meals, okay? So, I mean, granted, I do. Like this morning I made cinnamon rolls for the boys and I made my spinach omelet. You know, no big deal. But for the most part, I figure if they're hungry enough, they're gonna eat what I fix, right? Okay, so here are a couple things that I wanna share with you. I'm a visual person, so I like to share things. So here is something that I have done. If you just go to Google Docs or Excel, you can create your own spreadsheet. And this is something that I'm actually going to start sharing more of on social media. So if you guys would like to actually see my own meal plan, give me a thumbs up on this or comment below and say, yes, I would like to see your own personal meal plan, and I'll be happy to share this with you guys. So what I do is on my meal plan, I have a spot here for my workouts. I have a spot here for up to 6 meals. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm eating 6 meals in a day, but I have enough space on here for 6 meals. Now, when I first started out, I would eat every 2.5 to 3 hours because the mindset was you want to get your metabolism up and you want to keep it running steady all day long. And how you do that is by eating every 2.5 to 3 hours. There's the mindset of, you need to start eating within an hour of getting up, and then you continue that 2.5 to 3 hours. Now, as I have gotten older, things have changing here on me, okay? Things that used to work for me are not necessarily working for me right now. So I've been dabbling in what's called intermittent fasting, which basically what that means is that I get up and I'm actually not eating my first meal till about 11 o'clock, and I'll typically get up at about 6. I'm playing around with it. I'm not condoning it for everybody. You gotta do what works. What works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me. So it's been trial and error, especially like the last 6 months. There's lots of changes. Once you guys hit your 40s, your whole body just totally changes. So it's been a lot of trial and error for me trying to figure out what I can do to make things work for me, okay? So, but anyway, bottom line is you want to plan out your meals. So you want to have your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then either 1 or 2 snacks in between there. So whether you're doing the 2.5 to 3 hour meal plan, or if you're doing intermittent fasting and eating within an 8-hour window, which is what I do, you're still eating the same amount of calories. It's just how spread out they are throughout the day. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So what I do is on a Sunday night or a Sunday afternoon, I'll sit down and I'll plan out all of my meals for the entire week. And then what I'll do is, if I have time, then on Sunday, I'll go ahead and make my meals to last me till Wednesday. Because I'm the type of person that if I have prepared meals like sitting in the refrigerator all week long, by the time Thursday and Friday gets around, I'm like, ooh, that's gross. I can't eat that. So what I've done is I'll make enough meals for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'll do another food prep for Wednesday through Saturday, and then I'll start on Sunday with my meal prep. So what I do is I'll sit down with my meal plan, and I'll write in what my meals are going to be. And then as I'm doing that, I have my grocery list. So I went to the grocery today. It's just one of those magnets hang on your refrigerator. That way everybody can write on it. So, but as I'm planning out my meals, I'll make my grocery list at the same time. Now, you guys, when I first started doing this, I spent a lot of time planning out my meals. I mean, I'm talking a couple hours trying to plan out my meals. But now that I've been doing this for quite a while, I can set out and make out my meals like within 10, 15 minutes and be done with it, because I'm a creature of habit. I typically will eat the same foods. Like this week, it's been my spinach omelet every single day this week, just because I like it and it works for me. So now here's what I don't want you guys to do when you start planning out your meals. You know, I get a lot of questions of, well, what kind of snacks can I eat? What kind of meals should I make? Don't get like all caught up in, oh my gosh, I gotta make all these fancy meals. Don't do that. Keep it simple and maybe just try one new meal a week. You can go to Pinterest, you can go to the Team Beachbody website, you can go to my blog, which is richandrachel.com. Another thing that I do is the Fix It cookbook. There's over 100 recipes in here, and I'm a visual person, so it comes with pictures, and the recipes are very, very easy. So I have a lot of resources for the recipes. And again, I try just to do one new recipe a week. Okay, so just try to keep it simple. Now, when you get to the point of you're making your meals, here's another thing that's really, really important is portion sizes, because a lot of people will underestimate how many calories they are actually eating. And when they make a salad, for example, they will make this humongous salad and are thinking, okay, well, this is healthy because it's lots of vegetables, but you can have too much of a good thing still. So you got to keep your portions under control. So there's a couple of tools that I use for that. I like to use this scale. It's a food scale. The brand name is OXO. I think I got this at Target. But I like to use this when I am like doing my proteins or liquids or anything like that, where I need to weigh my food. And then, of course, obviously, you guys have seen me with this, the portion container system that portions out all of your food. So it's really good to measure your food and have your food in portion sizes, so that you're not eating too much, and two, you get enough food. Okay, for example, like yesterday when I was making my spinach omelet, I just kind of eyeballed my spinach, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and put my spinach in my green portion container to make sure that I'm getting enough, and sure enough, I wasn't getting enough. So you can shortchange yourself too if you're not portioning out your foods. And that's why you end up getting hungry, and then you get ravenous, and then you just, you blow your diet. Okay, so that brings me to my next point. That's another reason why you want to plan out your meals, is because if you don't plan out your meals and you get home for dinner and you have no idea what you're going to have, you haven't planned anything, you get home, you're hungry, you're tired, you're going to open up the refrigerator or you're going to open up the pantry and you're just going to grab whatever's there. In my case, it's the kids' chips, it's the goldfish, it's junk food, okay? It's stuff that I don't want to eat, but it's there, I'm obviously not going to keep it away from the kids. But if you don't plan ahead and you're not prepared, then that's what you're going to do. You're just going to grab the first thing that comes out to you. So that is another reason why it's really important to plan ahead and plan your meals. So I want to give you a couple of extra tips here. So if you've got pen and paper, maybe if you want to take some notes here, but tip number one of the things that I do is when I'm making dinner, I will make extra, and then I will divvy up that food and save it for lunch the next day. I have some not portion container, like Tupperware containers or Ziploc containers. I forgot to get those. But tonight at Costco, I found some containers. I'll take a picture of it and I'll post it in the comment section below once I'm done with the video. But I'll make extra for dinner, I'll save it for lunch the next day, and then that way all I have to do is pull my container out of the refrigerator, pop it in the microwave, and boom, I'm done. I got my good, healthy lunch, and I don't have to worry about trying to figure out what I'm going to have. Okay, so tip number two is, Again, planning ahead. So when I sit down on a Sunday night and I'm planning out my entire week's worth of meals, I'm thinking ahead of, okay, do I have any family get-togethers? Am I going out on date night? Do I have a party? You know, what is going on this week where I can kind of plan my meals and know if whether or not I'm going to have a treat meal in there. So if I know I've got date night, say on Friday night, I know that I have to make sure that I am eating clean the rest of the week. Or if I am going out with my girlfriends on Wednesday night, then I know that come Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I need to make sure that I'm eating clean because Wednesday night was my treat meal. And that's another thing too, is I hate the phrase cheat meal because it has such a negative connotation. So I always use the phrase treat meal. Okay. Another tip is, again, with the recipes, don't try to go all out with the recipes. Just keep it simple when you're starting out. Just try one new recipe a week, and then, and get your family's input on that too, of like what they would like to try. Tip number 4 is create a grocery list. So we already talked about that. So you want to have a grocery list when you go to the store, because if not, then every shiny little object at the grocery store is going to pop out and magically put into your grocery cart. And also, don't ever go to the grocery store hungry. You want to make sure you have a meal before you go. Another thing that I do is theme nights during the week. So obviously Tuesday is Taco Tuesday. You know, I love my tacos. Fridays we will create like homemade pizzas. We'll sometimes do breakfast for dinner. We'll have our pasta night. So create a theme, and you can even cycle it every single week. So that way the family knows that, okay, Friday night's going to be pizza, Wednesday night's going to be pasta, Tuesday night's going to be some sort of taco or Mexican meal. And then they can then help you come up with recipes or come up with ideas of what to try for the meals. Okay, tip number 6 is, I already talked about this, but meal prepping on Sundays, enough food to last you to Wednesday, and then meal prep again on Wednesdays to last you to Saturday. And here's the thing with meal prepping, you guys, you know, a lot of people will say, well, I don't have time to meal prep. Well, then you're just expecting to fail. But here's the thing. On average, how long does it take you to make dinner every single night? For me, by the time I get out all my food, I prep all the food, I cook the food, I clean up the kitchen, it's an hour, hour and a half, okay? When I prep my meals on Sunday, I get out all of my foods, I dirty up the kitchen, it might take me 2 hours to do all that, but it saves me time in the long run by meal prepping my food than if I make meals throughout the week. Okay. All right. So tip number 7 is whenever you get home from the grocery store, that is a great time to go ahead and prep your veggies and prep your fruit. So for example, as soon as I get home from the grocery store, so let's just say I bought a head of broccoli. I'll go ahead and chop up my broccoli and put it in my like a big container that I keep in the refrigerator. And then when it's time for me to get a serving of vegetables out, I'll just get my green container, I'll get that out. Same thing with my fruit. I'll go ahead and wash off all my fruit, and you know, if it's say strawberries, I'll cut it all up, or you know, if I get a cantaloupe or watermelon or pineapple, I'll go ahead and cut it all up and dice it up and put it in a container. So by doing that, because how many times have you guys gone to the grocery store and bought vegetables and bought fruit, and you're like, I'm gonna be really good this week, but then it just sits in the refrigerator and then it ends up ruining because you don't feel like prepping it or you don't have time to prep it. So if you just get in the habit of, as soon as you get home from the grocery store, of going ahead and washing it and prepping it, then you'll be good to go for the week. So that's something that's really helped me. Okay, the other thing, so I guess this is tip number 8, pack your lunch, okay? You will save so much money by packing your lunch every single day. I mean, how many of you go out to lunch every single day with your coworkers? I know when I was a bank manager, I got in a really bad habit of doing that. And when I took a step back and I figured out my budget for the entire month of how much I was spending on eating out, I was like, holy cow. So when you pack your lunch, one, you're going to save money, and then two, you're going to eat healthier because you know that you've made your own food. One of the things that we have, we've got the six pack cooler that we use. So whenever we travel, whenever Rich will he uses this all the time. So it's really good to pack your lunch. Now, for those of you who travel for your job or you're on the road, because I have a couple of friends of mine who have asked me that question, is like, well, what do I do if I'm in my car all day long? I work out of my car. Well, there's lots of options that you can do for that, by making food that does not need to be heated up. Or if you're like me, I don't mind to eat cold chicken. I mean, it's already cooked, it's cold. But another thing you can do is if you go into a gas station and, maybe if you buy a water or if you just sweet talk them, you can use their microwave and heat up your food. So, being nice goes a long way. So, okay, that was my tips that I wanted to share with you. What were a couple other things that I wanted to do? Oh, last thing is here are a few ideas for food. So for example, for breakfast, I like to have my spinach omelet, and I'll either have like some turkey sausage and some turkey bacon to go along with it. For a snack, you can do apples and some almonds or cashew or some almond butter. For dinner, I will usually either do grilled chicken or tilapia or flank steak and some sort of vegetable. I eat a lot of sweet potatoes. I eat a lot of quinoa. So vegetables and hummus is another idea too. But if you can kind of keep this in mind, is that when you pair up your food, you want to have some sort of protein, because a protein will break down slower, so it's going to keep you fuller longer. And you want to pair that with some sort of complex carb, like a sweet potato or quinoa or vegetables, because that is a fast burning food. So when you pair those up together, that will keep you full longer and keep you satisfied, versus if you eat something that has a lot of sugar, or if you just eat just fruit, because fruit does have the sugar, you're going to get hungry sooner, okay? And then you're going to be eating more. So if you can combine a protein and a starchy carb together, it's going to keep you fuller longer. Okay, I think that's all I had that I wanted to share with you. So remember, you guys, this took me a really long time and I'm still tweaking it, okay? I'm always changing it, but don't let it overwhelm you. Just try it for a week, see how it goes, and then make changes as you go along. But I will tell you that meal planning is something that you have to stick with. It's not something that you do for a week and you're like, I didn't see any results, so I'm not going to do it. You have to stick with it, because it takes a good 4 to 5 weeks of being consistent with your clean eating before you start seeing results. It's usually around that week 5, week 6 time frame is when all that consistent eating patterns have compounded day after day after day, where that's around that week 5, week 6 is when you're going to start really seeing some big changes in the way that you look and feel. So hopefully that has helped. If you've enjoyed this, I definitely appreciate a thumbs up. Feel free to share this on your own page. And again, if you have any ideas or feedback of what you would like to see me talk about on my Fit Tip Fridays, comment below and I'll be sure to add that to my list. So I will be adding this video to my YouTube channel and also my blog. Again, it's richandrachel.com. I'll post the link in that in the comments section below. So you guys have a wonderful evening, a wonderful weekend. And if you have any questions whatsoever with meal planning, just reach out to me. I'm here to help. Okay, you guys have a great night and thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.